Hare Krishna, welcome all of you for today's Bhagavad Gita reading session. Let us begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Chapter 9 entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge. Text 16. Aham kraturaham yajna swadhaham ahamaushadham mantrohamam ahamevajyam aham agnir aham hutam. Synonyms: Aham I, Kratuhu ritual, Aham I, Yajnaha sacrifice, Swadha oblation, Aham I, Aushadham healing herb, Mantraha transcendental chant, Aham I, Eva certainly, Ajyam melted butter, Aham I, Agnihi fire, Aham I, Hutam offering. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation: The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "But it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering." Purport: The sacrifice known as Jyotishtoma is also Krishna, and he is also the Mahayajna. The oblations offered to the Pitraloka, or the sacrifice performed to please the Pitraloka, consider, considered as a king, considered as a kind of drug in the form of clarified butter, is also Krishna. The mantras chanted in this connection are also Krishna, and many other commodities made with milk products for offering in the sacrifices are also Krishna. The fire is also Krishna because fire is one of the five material elements and is therefore claimed as the separated energy of Krishna. In other words, the Vedic sacrifices recommended in the Karma Kanda division of the Vedas are in total also Krishna. Or, in other words, those who are engaged in rendering devotional service unto Krishna are to be understood to have performed all the sacrifices recommended in the Vedas. Text 17. पिताहमस्य जगतो माता धाता पितामहः वेद्यं पवित्रमोङ्कार रुक्सामयजुरेव च. Synonyms: Pita, father, Aham, I, Asya, of this, Jagataha, of the universe, Mata, mother, Dhata, supporter, Pitamaha, grandfather, Vedyam, what is to be known, Pavitram, that which purifies, Omkaraha, the syllable Om, Ruk, the Rig Veda, Sama, the Sama Veda, Yajuhu, the Yajur Veda, Eva, certainly, Cha, and. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation: I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am also the Ruk, the Sama, and the Yajur Vedas. Purport: The entire cosmic manifestations, moving and non moving, are manifested by different activities of Krishna's energy. In the material existence, we create different relationships with different living entities who are nothing but Krishna's marginal energy. But under the creation of Prakriti, some of them appear as our father, mother, grandfather, creator, etc. But actually, they are parts and parcels of Krishna. As such, these living entities who appear to be our father, mother, etc., are nothing but Krishna. In this verse, the word dhata means creator. Not only are our father and mother parts and parcels of Krishna, but their creator, grandmother, and grandfather, etc., are also Krishna. Actually, any living entity being part and parcel of Krishna is Krishna. All the Vedas therefore aim only toward Krishna. Whatever we want to know through the Vedas is but a progressive step to understand Krishna. That subject matter which helps us purify our constitutional position is especially Krishna. Similarly, the living entity who is inquisitive to understand all Vedic principles is also part and parcel of Krishna, and as such is also Krishna. In all the Vedic mantras, the word Om, called Pranava, is a transcendental sound vibration and is also Krishna. And because in all the hymns of the four Vedas, Sama, Yajur, Rik, and Atharva, the Pranava or Omkara is very prominent, it is understood to be Krishna. Text 18. Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa Sharanam Suhrit Prabhava Pralaya Sthanam Nidhanam Bijam Avyayam. Synonyms: Gatihi, goal; Bharta, sustainer; Prabhuhu, Lord; Sakshi, witness; Nivasaha, abode; Sharanam, refuge; Suhrit, most intimate friend; Prabhavaha, creation; Pralayaha, dissolution; Sthanam, ground; Nidhanam, resting place; Bijam, seed; Avyayam, imperishable. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation: I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most intimate friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place, and the eternal seed. Purport: Gati means the destination where we want to go. But the ultimate goal is Krishna, although people do not know it. One who does not know Krishna is misled, and his so called progressive march is either partial or hallucinatory. There are many who make as their destination different demigods, and by rigid performance of the strict respective methods, they reach different planets known as Chandraloka, Suryaloka, Indraloka, Maharloka, etc. But all such lokas or planets, being creations of Krishna, are simultaneously Krishna and not Krishna. Actually, such planets, being the manifestations of Krishna's energy, are also Krishna, but actually they only serve as a step forward for realization of Krishna. To approach the different energies of Krishna is to approach Krishna indirectly. One should directly approach Krishna, for that will save time and energy. For example, if there is a possibility of going to the top of a building by the help of an elevator, why should one go by the staircase step by step? Everything is resting on Krishna's energy. Therefore, without Krishna's shelter, nothing can exist. Krishna is the supreme ruler because everything belongs to him and everything exists on his energy. Krishna, being situated in everyone's heart, is the supreme witness. The residences, countries, or planets on which we live are also Krishna. Krishna is the ultimate goal of shelter, and as such, one should take shelter of Krishna either for protection or for annihilation of his distressed condition. And whenever we have to take protection, we should know that our protection must be a living force. Thus, Krishna is the supreme living entity. Since Krishna is the source of all our generation, since Krishna is the source of our generation, or the Supreme Father, no one can be a better friend than Krishna, nor can anyone be a better well wisher. Krishna is the original source of creation and the ultimate rest after annihilation. Krishna is therefore the eternal cause of all causes. Text 19. Tapamyaham aham varsham निगृह्णाम्युत्सृजामि च अमृतं चैव मृत्युश्च सदसच्चाहम् अर्जुन. Synonyms: Tapami, give heat. Aham, I. Varsham, rain. Nigrhnami, withhold. Utsrajami, send forth. Cha, and. Amritam, immortality. Cha, and. Eva, certainly. Mrityuhu, death. Cha, and. Sat, being. Asat, non-being. Cha, and. Aham, I. Arjuna, O Arjuna. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation: O Arjuna, I control heat, the rain, and the drought. I am immortality, and I am also death personified. Both being and not being are in me. Purport: Krishna, by his different energies, diffuses heat and light through the agency of electricity and the sun. During summer season, it is Krishna who checks rain from falling from the sky, and then during the rainy season, he gives unceasing torrents of rain. The energy which sustains us by prolonging the duration of our life is Krishna, and Krishna meets us at the end as death. By analyzing all these different energies of Krishna, one can ascertain that for Krishna there is no distinction between matter and spirit, or, in other words, he is both matter and spirit. In the advanced stage of Krishna consciousness, one does not therefore make such distinctions. He sees Krishna only in everything. Since Krishna is both matter and spirit, the gigantic universal form comprising all material manifestations is also Krishna, and his pastimes in Vrindavana as two-handed Shyamasundara playing on a flute are those of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 20. त्रैविद्या मां सोमपाः पूतपापा यज्ञैरिष्ट्वा स्वर्गतिं प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमासाद्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम् अश्नन्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देव भोगान्. Synonyms: Trividyaha, the knowers of the three Vedas. Mam, unto me. Somapaha, drinkers of Soma juice. Puta, purified. Papaha, sins. Yajnaihi, with sacrifices. Ishtva, after worshipping. Swargatim, passage to heaven. Prarthayante, pray. Te, they. Punyam, virtue. Asadhya, enjoying. Surendra, of Indra. Lokam, world. Ashnanti, enjoy. Divyan, celestial. Divi, in heaven. Deva Bhogan, the pleasures of the gods. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation: Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. They take birth on the planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. Purport: The word Trividyaha refers to the three Vedas, Sama, Yajur, and Rig. A Brahmana who has studied these three Vedas is called a Trivedi. Anyone who is very much attached to knowledge derived from these three Vedas is respected in society. Unfortunately, there are many great scholars of the Vedas who do not know the ultimate purport of studying them. Therefore, Krishna herein declares himself to be the ultimate goal for the Trivedis. Actually, Trivedis take shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna, and actual Trivedis take shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and engage in pure devotional service to satisfy the Lord. Devotional service begins with the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra and side by side trying to understand Krishna in truth. Unfortunately, those who are simply official students of the Vedas become more interested in offering sacrifices to the different demigods like Indra, Chandra, etc. By such endeavor, the worshippers of different demigods are certainly purified of the contamination of the lower qualities of nature and are thereby elevated to the higher planetary system or heavenly planets known as Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, etc. Once situated on those higher planetary systems, one can satisfy his senses hundreds of thousands of times better than on this planet. Text 21. ते तं भुक्त्वा स्वर्गलोकं विशालम् क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकं विशन्ति एवं त्रयी धर्ममनुप्रपन्ना गतागतं कामकामा लभन्ते. Synonyms: te, they, tam, that, bhuktva, enjoying, swargalokam, heaven, vishalam, vast, kshine, being exhausted, punye, merits, martyalokam, mortal earth, vishanti, fall down, evam, thus, trayi, three Vedas, dharmam, doctrines, anuprapannaha, following, gata agatam, death and birth, kama, kamaha, desiring sense enjoyments, labhante, attain. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation: when they have thus enjoyed heavenly sense pleasure, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, through the Vedic principles, they achieve only flickering happiness. Purport: one who is promoted to those higher planetary systems enjoys a longer duration of life and better facilities for sense enjoyment, yet one is not allowed to stay there forever. One is again sent back to this earthly planet upon finishing the resultant fruits of pious activities. He who has not attained perfection of knowledge, as indicated in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadhyasya Yataha, or in other words, he who fails to understand Krishna, the cause of all causes, becomes baffled in achieving the ultimate goal of life, and is thus subjected to the routine of being promoted to the higher planets and then again come down as if situated on a Ferris wheel, which sometimes goes up and sometimes comes down. The purport is that instead of being elevated to the spiritual world, where there is no longer any possibility of coming down, one simply revolves in the cycle of birth and death on higher and lower planetary systems. One should better take to the spiritual world to enjoy eternal life, full of bliss and knowledge, and never return to this miserable material existence. Text 22. अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जना पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्. Synonyms: Ananyaha, no other, Chintayantaha, concentrating, Mam, unto me, Ye, who, Janaha, persons, Paryupasate, properly worship, Tesham, there, Nitya, always, Abhiyuktanam, fixed in devotion, Yogakshemam, requirements, Vahami, carry, Aham, I. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. But those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. Purport. One who is unable to live for a moment without Krishna consciousness cannot but think of Krishna 24 hours, being engaged in devotional service by hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshipping, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, rendering other services, cultivating friendship, and surrendering fully to the Lord. Such activities are all auspicious and full of spiritual potencies. Indeed, they make the devotee perfect in self realization. Then his only desire is to achieve the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called yoga. By the mercy of the Lord, such a devotee never comes back to this material condition of life. Kshema refers to the merciful protection of the Lord. The Lord helps the devotee to achieve Krishna consciousness by yoga, and when he becomes fully Krishna conscious, the Lord protects him from falling down to a miserable, conditioned life. Text 23. येऽप्यन्यदेवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्त्यविधिपूर्वकम्. Synonyms. Ye, those. Api, also. Anya, others. Devata, demigods. Bhaktaha, devotees. Yajante, worship. Shraddhaya anvitaha, with faith. Te, they. Api, also. Mam, me. Eva, even. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. Yajanti, sacrifice. Avidhipurvakam, in a wrong way. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me alone, but it is offered without true understanding. Purport. Translation. Whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me alone, but it is offered without true understanding. Purport. Persons who are engaged in the worship of Persons who are engaged in the worship of demigods are not very intelligent, although such worship is done to me indirectly, Krishna says. For example, when a man pours water on the leaves and branches of a tree without pouring water on the root, he does so without sufficient knowledge or without observing regulative principles. Similarly, the process of rendering service to different parts of the body is to supply food to the stomach. The demigods are, so to speak, different officers and directors in the government of the Supreme Lord. One has to follow the laws made by the government, not by the officers or directors. Similarly, everyone is to offer his worship to the Supreme Lord only. That will automatically satisfy the different officers and directors of the Lord. The officers and directors are engaged as representatives of the government, and to offer some bribe to the officers and directors is illegal. This is stated here as Avidhi Purvakam. In other words, Krishna does not approve the unnecessary worship of the demigods. Text 24. Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhurev cha न तु मामभिजानन्ति तत्त्वेनातश्च्यवन्ति ते. Synonyms: Aham, I, he, surely, Sarva, of all, Yajnanam, sacrifices, Bhokta, enjoyer, Cha, also, Prabhuhu, Lord, Eva, also, Cha, and, Na, not, Tu, but, Mam, me, Abhijananti, no, Tatvena, in reality, Ataha, therefore, Shyavanti, fall down, Te, they. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation: I am the only enjoyer and the only object of sacrifice. Those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. Purport: Here it is clearly stated that there are many types of yajna performances recommended in the Vedic literatures, but actually all of them are meant for satisfying the Supreme Lord. Yajna means Vishnu. In the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that one should only work for satisfying Yajna or Vishnu. The perfectional form of human civilization, known as Varnashrama Dharma, is specifically meant for satisfying Vishnu. Therefore, Krishna says in this verse, I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices because I am the supreme master. However, less intelligent persons, without knowing this fact, worship demigods for temporary benefit. Therefore, they fall down to material existence and do not achieve the desired goal of life. If, however, anyone has any material desire to be fulfilled, he had better pray for it to the Supreme Lord, although that is not pure devotion, and he will thus achieve the desired result. Text 25. Yanti deva vrata devan pitru nyanti pitru vrataha bhutani yanti bhutejya yanti madhyajinopimam. Synonyms: Yanti, achieve. Deva Vrataha, worshippers of demigods. Devan, to demigods. Pitrun, to ancestors. Yanti, go. Pitruvrataha, worshippers of ancestors. Bhutani, to ghosts and spirits. Yanti, go. Bhutejyaha, worshippers of ghosts and spirits. Yanti, go. Mat, mine. Yajinaha, devotees. Api, also. Mam, unto me. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation: Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. Those who worship ancestors go to the ancestors, and those who worship me will live with me. Purport: If anyone has any desire to go to the moon, the sun, or any other planet, one can attain the desired destination by following specific Vedic principles recommended for that purpose. These are vividly described in the fruitive activities portion of the Vedas, technically known as Darsha Paurnamasi, which recommends a specific worship of demigods situated on different heavenly planets. Similarly, one can attain the Pita planets by performing a specific yajna. Similarly, one can go to many ghostly planets and become a yaksha, raksha, or pishacha. Pishacha worship is called black arts or black magic. There are many men who practice this black art and they think that it is spiritualism, but such activities are completely materialistic. Similarly, a pure devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead only achieves the planets of Vaikuntha and Krishnaloka without a doubt. It is very easy to understand through this important verse that if by simply worshipping the demigods one can achieve the heavenly planets, or by worshipping the Pitas, achieve the Pitru planets, or by practicing the black arts, achieve the ghostly planets? Why can the pure devotee not achieve the planet of Krishna or Vishnu? Unfortunately, many people have no information of these sublime planets where Krishna and Vishnu live, and because they do not know of them, they fall down. Even the impersonalists fall down from the Brahma Jyoti. This Krishna consciousness movement is therefore distributing sublime information to the entire human society to the effect that by simply chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can become perfect in this life and go back home, back to Godhead. We shall continue to read in the next session. Thank you for joining. ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, विश्व गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय.
Thank
Hare Krishna.